Hello everybody, my name is Michael and welcome to 𝗧𝗓𝗘, your YouTube channel for automation, coding, and more. Do you hate combining multiple Excel files into a single file by hand? Because it's boring and wastes a lot of time? Then let's automate it. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can merge multiple Excel files into a single file by using Python. It is very simple and we will need less than 20 lines of code. If you're ready to expand your data handling arsenal, let's not waste any more time. Take a look on my desktop. I have prepared a folder with two subfolders and both contain an Excel file with data on the average salary of IT jobs. As you can see, the Excel file consists of 3 columns: continent, occupation, and the average annual salary in euros. The other subfolder is similar, but the annual salary is given in US dollars. Okay, these are the example files. Let's write a Python code that can merge both files. First of all, we need to import the necessary modules. We will need the OS module and Pandas. For that, we type import OS and import Pandas as PD. The OS module is a built-in Python module and provides functions for interacting with the operating system. In our case, we will use it to search for all Excel files within a folder. Pandas is a powerful data manipulation and data analysis library for Python. It provides data structures like data frames for efficient handling of structured data and offers a wide range of functions for tasks such as filtering, grouping, and transforming data. Pandas comes not with the standard libraries of Python. You need to install it. You can install it by using the following command in the terminal: pip install pandas. Press enter and wait for the installation. Here it is already installed. Let's continue with the first step. First, we need to get all the Excel files from the folder. For this purpose, we will create a variable. Let's name it all_files. Then we can use the OS_walk method. This method expects as a parameter the location of the folder that contains the Excel files. The path of the folder must be given as a string. I'm using the path of my Excel data folder, which contains the 2 subfolders with the Excel file examples. This method loops through the given folder and returns an object that contains all the files and subfolders. The object is iterable, so we can use a for loop to iterate through all the files and folders. For this, we write for folder, subfolder, files, and all_files. For a better understanding, let's print out the 3 variables. For this, we write print folder, print subfolder, and print files. Let's run the code and then see what we get as output. As you can see, print folder returns us the path of the Excel data folder. Print subfolder returns a list of all subfolders that are inside the Excel data folder. In this case, there are 2 subfolders in the Excel data folder: the Europe folder and the USA folder. More important for us is the print files command. It returns us a list of all files inside the Excel data folder. Because the Excel files are located in the subfolders, we get an empty list. In the second loop of the for loop, we get the analogous informations, but in this case for the subfolder Europe. Because there are no other folders inside the Europe folder, we get an empty list for the subfolders. However, we get an entry in the file list. It is the file name of the Excel file inside our Europe folder. In the third loop of the for loop, the outputs are similar. The list of the subfolders is empty, but again an entry in the files list is available. In this case, it is the name of the Excel file inside the USA folder. Okay, with this knowledge in hand, we should be able to extract all Excel files from our Excel data folder. Before we continue, let's remove the print commands. As I showed before, the variable files contains the Excel file names as a list. So what we need to do now is to go through the list and filter all the Excel files. For that purpose, we will use another for loop. For file in files. To filter the Excel files from the list, we use an if statement. The ending .xlsx is typical for Excel file names. We can take advantage of this by checking if the files contain the .xlsx extension. To do this, we use the command ends with. If the file name contains the .xlsx extension, we save the file in a list. To do this, we create a variable that has an empty list as its initial value. Let's name it Excel_list. Since we will need the entire file path of the Excel file to be able to read it, we add the file path to the list. This can be done with 𝗧𝗜𝗠𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗣𝗦. To get the file path, we need to combine the folder path with the Excel file name. We can do this by using the 𝗧𝗜𝗠𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗣𝗦 method. This method allows us to concatenate various path components with exactly one directory separator. Here we will provide the variables folder and file as input parameters. Remember, folder contains the path of the folder, where the Excel file is located, and file contains the file name of the Excel file being checked in the current loop. Both path components will be combined to an entire file path and added to the list. Let's check out if it works. For this, we print the value of 𝗧𝗜𝗠𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗣𝗦. Now we run the code and take a look at the output. Perfect! We got a list with the absolute paths of both Excel files. So, step 1 is finished. Let's get rid of the print command and continue with the next step. In the second step, we want to read the data of each Excel file and merge them together. For that purpose, we use the Pandas library. Pandas allows us to read an Excel file and convert the data into a Pandas data frame. To do this, we create a variable. Let's name it df. Then we use the Pandas method read_Excel. This method requires as a parameter the path of the Excel file that we want to read. Let's use the path of the Excel file with the USA data. For this, copy the path of the file and paste it inside the parenthesis of the method. To check if it works, let's print the variable df. As you can see, we get the data of the Excel file as output. The data were converted into a Pandas data frame object. What we need to do now is to go through the Excel list and transform every Excel file to a Pandas data frame and merge them. To do this, we use a for loop. For Excel_file in Excel_list. Let's put the read_Excel command inside the loop. Because the Excel files inside the Excel list are stored as absolute paths, we can simply use the elements of the Excel list as input parameter for the read_Excel method. In this case, Excel_file will contain the absolute paths if the loop is executed, so we use Excel_file as input parameter. Next, we create a new variable. We will need it to store the merged data frame. Let's name it df_merged. This variable gets an empty data frame as initial value. For this, we use the command pd.dataframe. A Pandas data frame object will be created without any data in it. Now we can use this object to concatenate the data frames from our Excel files. To do this, we overwrite df_merged with the data frame that results after the data frame from the Excel file was added to the empty data frame. For this purpose, we use the Pandas method pd.concat. As a parameter, we use a list with the data frames that we want to combine. In our case, this would be the default data frame df_merged and the data frame of the Excel file df. Okay, time to check if the for loop is working. After running the code, the variable df_merged should contain a single data frame with the data of our both Excel files. So let's print df_merged and look at the output. As you can see, we get a single data frame with the data of our both Excel files. The data of our Excel files were successfully merged. But unfortunately, the indexing of the rows don't show a continuous sequence of numbers. The index starts at 0 for each new data frame. To avoid this, we can set the parameter ignore_index to true. This ensures that the indexing of the individual data frames is not retained. Instead, a new indexing is created for the merged data frame. Let's print df_merged again. As expected, the indexing now shows a continuous sequence of numbers. Perfect! We managed to merge the data frames of our Excel files to a single data frame. In our last step, we just have to write the merged data frame into a new Excel file. And this is very easy because Pandas provides us with a convenient method for this. With the command df_merged.to_Excel, a new Excel file will be created that contains the data of the merged data frame. The location of the new created Excel file and the file name can be given as an absolute file path. In this example, we will use the Excel data folder as location for our merged Excel file, and we name the file merged_excel.xlsx. Our Python script is now complete, so let's run the program and see if the desired Excel file is created. As you can see, a new created Excel file appeared in our Excel data folder. Let's take a look inside to check if all the data are included. As expected, both the data from the Europe Excel file and from the USA Excel file are included. Because the Europe file does not contain any data about the average annual salary in US dollar, the corresponding column remains empty. The situation is similar with the data in the USA file. The file does not contain any data for the salary in euros. Because of this, the column of the average annual salary in euros remains empty as well. What we can learn from this is that it is possible to merge Excel files with different column names. The column names do not necessarily have to be identical. This brings us to the end of the video. You are now able to automate the process of merging different Excel files. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more content on the topic of how to automate Excel with Python, please subscribe to the channel. More videos will follow.